Well, welcome everyone. So we want to thank you so much if you're coming to us live. We're glad to see you here. And if you're watching the recording, be sure to reach out to us after you watch it if you have any questions or comments or need any help. All of our contact information is on this first slide. So we'd love to hear from you and get you booked on this fantastic cruise. So first, I'll kind of go over our agenda for tonight. We're going to introduce you very briefly to our agency and just kind of let you know what our values are as your travel professionals. And then we're going to talk to you about what a celebration of wine cruise is, about Los Milics Winery, and we'll learn a little bit about AmaWaterways, why they are leading the way in river cruising. They are a fantastic river cruise company. We're going to do the itinerary, and then we're going to talk to you a little bit about why we have such a strong partnership with them and why we're able to offer you better than direct pricing. And then we'll go over all the cabin categories available for the cruise, and we'll do questions and answers. So really quickly to tell you about us, because some of you might be new to our agency, maybe you just saw us through some of our advertising for this event. I really want my clients to get to know me. I want them to feel comfortable booking with me. I'm happy to do a phone consultation and talk to you about your plans and your dreams and talk to you about the strong relationships that I build, because it's really a collaborative effort to make sure that your dreams come true as a traveling client. You're never just a transaction with me. And some of the people, and I'm going to wave to them because there's a couple of them are here in this webinar who I consider some of my closest friends. I met through doing cruises with them and some of the ones that Steve and I escorted. So it has been a wonderful, wonderful 12 years. It'll be 13 in August, years in business. And it's been a great experience for us to work with so many wonderful clients. Steve and I ourselves are avid travelers. We are so lucky now because the internet on cruise ships, whether on a river or on the ocean, is actually finally good enough with Starlink that we can run our business from anywhere in the world. We consider our time traveling to be an investment in our business. We use our first-hand experience that we have in all these destinations to really craft a customized and personalized experience for our clients that will go with us after we've been there or when we're going. And we really strive to deliver exceptional experiences to our guests. So why use an agency? A lot of people are like, well, I can just go and book online. Well, first of all, when you work with us, we work on behalf of you, our clients. We don't exist without you, our clients, working with us. We have lots of training and experience. I have several certifications from the Cruise Line International Association, and I literally book hundreds and hundreds of cruises every year. So I use all that experience to make sure that you are getting a seamless and a well-planned approach to your cruise with all the questions that you have answered right up front. And just to give you the best kept secret in travel, you will not pay any more to use all of my services than you would if you just went online and booked a cruise online. The commissions that we earn as travel agents are built into the price of the cruise, whether you use us or not. So if you're not using a highly skilled professional travel agent like our agency, you're actually paying for something that you're not getting. And that is all the services and extras that we add as part of your vacation planning process. I'm really easy to get a hold of. You can phone me, text me, email me nearly 24/7. Even when I'm traveling, I try not to even let my clients know that I'm traveling because I don't want them to think that they're bothering me. You are my whole reason for business. And the whole reason why I'm traveling is to gain that experience so I can then turn it back to you and have an incredible experience that I can offer you. So now we're going to talk about what a celebration of wine river cruise is. And it is really a cruise that emphasizes both the culinary side of wine tasting and the onshore wine experiences. You get to visit lots of different wineries throughout the process and try local wines. And then, of course, on board the ship, we are going to have our wonderful team from Los Milics, Pavle and Ida, and they will be giving us lectures on board. They will host some special sip and sail happy hours. They will do some comparison and contrast to the local wines of the region we're visiting to the wines that they make in Elgin, Arizona. So it really is a wonderful celebration of everything wine, both the making, the tasting, the enjoyment with food, and that full experience. So this is what's called a North American winemaker hosted sailing. So Pavle from the Los Milics winery will be on there, and he is actually shipping his wine. It's going to the warehouse now in Austria, and they will load that wine onto our ship, and it will be on board our ship for our cruise. You're going to have, like I said, a unique opportunity to compare and contrast his wines that are made in the New World, but he says with an Old World style, to the ones that are made in the Old World. So a really unique experience with having it on board. That is, believe it or not, the tasting room in Los Milics. It looks like something out of 2001: A Space Odyssey, but it's really a unique architectural design, and it was voted the runner-up best tasting room in the USA by USA Today readers. So that was a big honor for them, and you can see it's such a stunning location. Really is a beautiful winery. They're growing. Yeah, the biscuit is right behind there. Yep. And they are growing a wonderful variety of wines there. They've got a lot you've heard of, like Cabernet Sauvignon, but maybe, and Grenache, I think we've all heard of that. They've got Graciano, Montepulciano, Syrah. All these wines are designed based on their terroir and the weather of that area. And it's a very unique wine growing region. You have to pick wines that thrive in the heat and that are late blooming and late harvesting. So very interesting mix of wines that they have there, and some good wines too. They give all of their wines somebody's name. So some of the ones that I've had Moe's, I've had Oliver's. We've had a couple of new releases of these recently. I think I had Matt's. So
Matt's, Carolyn's is a new good one.
yeah,
Stephanie's.
yes. So we've been to a couple of their release parties, and it's such a wonderful experience to taste the wonderful wines that they're producing. That's a picture of their tasting room. Absolutely gorgeous facility. You can see that they're really set up to succeed with their business venture here. We went out there in January of last year and enjoyed tasting and just a little bit of a charcuterie. It's a wonderful winery just to visit if you're ever in Southern Arizona or live in Southern Arizona. So now we're going to talk about AmaWaterways and what you can expect from your experience on board. Now that is our ship. That is the AmaMagna. And what you may not realize when you see this picture is that this ship is double the width of a traditional European river cruise ship. Most ships are designed to fit through a set of locks one at a time. There is a section of the Danube where the locks permit two ships to pull up parallel to each other. And this ship was designed to sail exclusively in that section of the Danube where all the locks are double the width. So one of the reasons that they came up with this ship is that when Rudy and Christine and Jimmy Murphy started the company 21 years ago, they wanted to have the comfort of space. Now, most of their ships are the traditional single wide, but they put 158 passengers in the same size ship that their leading competitor, the big one that we all know in river cruising, puts 198 passengers. Now, this ship that's double wide is twice as big as that leading competitor's ship, and they also have 198 passengers. So they really give you that luxury of spaciousness and luxury of public areas. They want to have fresh and beautifully prepared cuisine that represents the region that they are traveling through. They want to have regional wines on board, and they want to have a variety of excursions included at no extra cost. So it's not like you get one cookie cutter excursion. You can choose from 2 or 3, and whichever one you feel like doing is the one you want to do. So these are all things that they wanted to do to differentiate themselves from that big competitor in this market. They have cruises all over the world, and they're even going to be starting just in a couple weeks on the Magdalena River in Colombia. Some of the innovations that they have brought, they were the first to introduce the twin balcony setup, and that doesn't apply to the Magna. Of course, the Magna is an innovation itself, but the twin balcony is for the smaller cabins, so you get more room inside and you get a walkout balcony. or the smaller ships. Those are the standard cabins. They also incorporate wellness into everything they do. You can do bicycling ride. They have stretching and yoga classes. They even have a pickleball court, a full-size pickleball court on the AmaMagna. And that lady, that lovely lady that you see is Christine. She's one of the founders of AmaWaterways. And sustainability. They have an herb garden on top of the ship, and they do a lot of practices like no single-use plastics, try to recycling with everything, just really trying to have that sustainability in their industry. And again, we're talking about that luxury of space. This picture that you see right up here is the AmaMagna. I believe that is the standard balcony cabin. And then there's some of the cabins in some of their other ships. Again, they want to have those spacious staterooms, a variety of shore excursions. We talked about that. They don't want it to be cookie cutter. They want you to have experiential shore excursions where you're having tastes and bites of what there is to experience in town without having to charge you extra for it. Most other river cruise lines, unless it's some sort of special wine cruise where the wine tasting is included, or a beer cruise where it's included, you pay extra to do all those ones that have that tasting experience. And of course, the bicycling. There's many cruises that Ama has where you can actually either ride on an excursion through town or through a beautiful park area, or you can paddle, or not paddle, pedal along the river and get off the ship and then meet the ship further up down the river. So it's a really great experience. Their cuisine. So I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce these French names, but I just want you to know that they are part of these two wonderful gastronomy and cuisine organizations, and they've received several awards. And this is their director of culinary, and they really put a lot of thought into the food experience on board. They have a sip and sail happy hour every day. It's an hour. You get free cocktails, beer, wine for that hour right before dinner. And that's usually when your cruise manager is going to be giving you your briefing for the next day. And so that's a chance for you to sit, relax, have a glass of wine or a mixed drink, and hear about what's going on for the next day and what your plans need to be. And that's complimentary, in addition to beer and wine with all your meals. You can even have a mimosa with breakfast if you want, and you can have champagne, wine, beer with your lunch and with dinner. So the wellness program, I briefly touched on that, but there's some pictures of some of the people enjoying the wonderful wellness programs that they have on board. And now that Lower Danube, this is that AmaMagna, which was the dream of the founders. They drew it up on a napkin. We could do a ship that's twice as big in this area of the Danube. And this picture is actually from the Iron Gates area. We will be sailing through this area. It's one of the most scenic areas of the Danube. This is our itinerary. It's called Gems of Southeast Europe. It's November 16th of 2025. And here's where we go. We start in Budapest. We head all the way down the river and all these wonderful stops. So like Pécs is a short excursion that we would take. You take the bus inland. It's a wine region. Then you go to a couple places. Croatia, Novi Sad is this is
Serbia.
Serbia, that's right. And then we go to Bulgaria and Romania. And I have to tell you, if you haven't ever been to Bulgaria or Romania, it should be on your list. There are some wonderful, wonderful World Heritage sites there to see. So there's a picture of the ship. It's just absolutely a stunning ship, gorgeous ship. And again, that double width. So you're going to get a variety of restaurants. There is a traditional main restaurant where the menu is going to change every single day. And that's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They have a variety of different foods that they serve there. They have a chef's table, and there's no charge for that chef's table. Everybody gets to dine at the chef's table, and they just sign you up for a night when you're on your first night of the cruise. Usually the maitre d' will come around and look for like a group of people that are sitting together. Hey, you guys want to go tonight? He'll sign them up for that night. And then they'll get other groups of people to sign up for the other nights, the rest of the cruise. There's also a wonderful al fresco dining venue that can accommodate 20 guests. And of course, that's going to be weather dependent. But even in the time we're going, there might be a wonderful time to have a meal outside. And they also feature some vegetarian forward menus. Not that they're vegetarian, but they're going to have a little more vegetables. Then there's Jimmy's. So Jimmy's is the restaurant that was named in honor of the late co-founder Jimmy Murphy. And his son has now taken his place in the business. But they wanted to set up a thing that would be warm and familiar. So everything is served family style there. It's a great chance to get together with friends and family and enjoy this lovely family style meal. And it is the perfect venue for groups. The seating can be up to 10 guests each. Wonderful venue. So you do have 4 different options for your meals. And then those spacious staterooms. This is one example of a standard balcony cabin. And look, most river ships do not have a walkout balcony like you see here. Most river ships are going to have either a French balcony or a very small, tiny, just so that they can say they have one walkout balcony. So this is almost like an ocean cruise type cabin. And then we have done a very similar cruise to this Gems of Southeast Europe. So Steve and I, we wanted to share with you some of our favorite things from this part of the world, because it is an absolutely stunning part of the world to go to. So first thing is Budapest. Oh my gosh, the food, the wine, the culture, absolutely wonderful. And this is the Budapest marketplace, which is their historic marketplace. It was even open and around, and there was a lot of abundance, even during the times that they were communist times. So many wonderful products. If you want to shop for paprika or local wines or what's it called? Rakia? That awful liqueur.
Rakia.
You can find everything in this marketplace, as well as a nice lot of souvenirs. So it's a wonderful place to visit. This is the St. Stephen's Cathedral, absolutely gorgeous inside and out, and it's the main focus of one of the squares there. Of course, this is a nighttime picture. It's beautiful during the day, and I think it's like €3 to go tour it during the day, and that helps preserve the money that you pay to go as a tourist. It helps preserve the cathedral. So next, we're going to head to. Now, let me see if I can say that. We say the Skedsard wine region of this part of the world. It was established more than 2,000 years ago, and it's one of the oldest wine growing regions in Hungary. And we'll learn about the whole complete wine production process there. There's also an opportunity to bicycle during this part of the tour. And then we're also going to visit Pécs, and it was again founded more than 2,000 years ago. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And, the actual cathedral there is called St. Peter's Basilica, not to be confused with the one in Rome, but there is a basilica there. And there's a beautiful mosque there, as well as a Christian necropolis that's also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So many, many cultural highlights that we'll be able to see in this part of the world. We'll also go to Vukovar, Croatia. And Croatia's actually the largest river port. And this beautiful mansion that you see was once part of the Habsburg dynasty. And you'll see beautiful Baroque buildings. And this is the Eltz family manor. Just a wonderful place to visit. And there's both, combination of the old and the new in Vukovar, Croatia. We'll also visit Belgrade, Serbia. Oh, so beautiful. This was one of my favorite places that we visited when Steve and I went to this part of the world. And I'll tell you what, so there's a chance to try the plum brandy. That's one of the experiential excursions that you can do, but you can also visit the downtown area and see the beautiful Santa Sava Cathedral. Now, this is my picture I took when we were there a couple years ago. And what's so interesting about this cathedral is that it was completed in the 21st century. It was supposed to be started in the early 20th century, and then communism took over. They're like, oh no, you can't get permits or whatever. We're not gonna build it. But then they decided that once the communists were overthrown, that they were going to raise money and build the cathedral that they always wanted. So they are so proud of this cathedral, and they tell you so much about the Orthodox religion being such an important part of their culture. So very, very interesting to go visit that cathedral. It's 2 levels, and all of it is equally as ornate as what you see in this picture. And then we go to Novi Sad, Serbia. And we're going to visit a fortress that was a stronghold that was never breached. And it was originally built to defend against the Ottoman Turks. And now they use it as like a cultural place for summertime festivals and views. You can see views of the Danube below, beautiful place. And we're going to see some of the highlights. We'll go tunnels and galleries below. And of course, have a chance to see wonderful artisans like this lady baking. I always like to show this slide kind of in the middle because it gives you an idea of what AMA does to bring the culture of the region that they're visiting on board. So they'll have singers, dancers, musicians come on board as part of the entertainment. They bring a variety of entertainers on board, and you really get that immersed in the destination, both on board the ship and off the ship. And then we're going to head through the iron gates. Now, I don't know if you can see the picture behind me. I don't, it's hard to see, but the renovations on the fortress have been done. This picture, it was still under construction. So now it's this beautiful fortress. You can climb towers, you can kind of walk all over, you can get a tour of the fortress. It really is an amazing thing. And the Iron Gates region, used to be the most treacherous region of the Danube. Before they built the locks that are just down the river, basically damming this into a lake, there were rapids. It was very dangerous. You had to have special guides to take you through this part of the Danube. But in the 20th century, the Romanian and the Bulgarian government decided to do a joint project and build a hydroelectric power plant on the river. And then they built a series of locks that you can go through so the shipping traffic could still go through. That statue that you see is the largest monolithic statue in all of Europe. And it is King, let me see if I can say it right, King Decimus. I believe that's who it is. Am I saying that right? I'm not sure exactly that's his name, but he was one of the early Romanian leaders, centuries ago. That's a more recent picture of that Gulabak fortress, an amazing sight to see. And you see it's just as picturesque from the river as when you just literally dock, like right here, you walk here and you get to tour the fortress. Very, very fun to do. So this is something unique that AmaWaterways offers. In Vaida, Bulgaria, you actually go to someone's home and they show you how to make traditional Bulgarian banitsa. And it's a pastry that's prepared with like yogurt and eggs and dough and cheese. And you'll have an opportunity to learn how to make it. And they also do some demonstrations on how they make their own homemade yogurt. And this is really something unique because AMA gives you that really hands-on immersive experience in the destination where you're actually meeting local people and learning about their traditions and customs. Nothing cookie cutter about this experience at all. Next, we're going to head to Veliko Tarnova, and that's in Bulgaria. The story of this fortress and the man that rose from being a pauper to the king of this fortress in like 6 to 8 weeks is quite interesting. You get to hike up this hill. The views from there are absolutely gorgeous, and it's really a unique place for shopping. Several universities are located in this town, so it's very educated, very artsy town because of the universities that are there. That's my own picture that I took when we were there at Veliko Tarnova. Again, incredible place. So the way this cruise works is that we'll get off the ship in Bulgaria. We'll have our tour of Veliko Tarnova, and then they will take us that afternoon into Bucharest. So we'll spend some time in Bucharest and see some of the highlights there. Then we'll head back to the river because the river is about an hour and a half away. And we have that one last night on the cruise ship. And then the next day, you transfer back into Bucharest to catch your flights home. Or you might want to do what we're doing. We're staying one extra night in Bucharest and flying home the next day. So we don't have to take a crack of dawn transfer from the ship to Bucharest. Some other ways that you can extend your stay, and a lot of people in our group are doing this. They're doing the pre-cruise extension to Vienna, Austria. It's 2 nights in Vienna. So you arrive Vienna, you have a full day tour. The next day, you spend the night in Vienna, and then they transfer you. You have a couple stops on the way. They transfer you from Vienna to Budapest. So a very convenient way to get from one to the other. There's also a 3-night extension to Istanbul. And that one includes your inter-tour flights, so your flights that are going to take you from Romania to Istanbul. And then there's also a Transylvania tour, and we did that a couple years ago, and it completely exceeded expectations of what we thought we were going to get in Transylvania. So here's a little look at some of the highlights that you'll see in Vienna, which of course is known as the City of Waltzes. And then in Transylvania, you're going to see some beautiful things in like the city of Brasov, the Pelish Castle, which is up in the mountains. It's a beautiful castle. Those are exterior and interior pictures of that. We love the food there. And I kind of joke about this. When we went to Transylvania, this is what we were expecting. Dracula's castle, Vlad the Impaler, vampires. That's what we expected. And we got so much more. That's some of my pictures of the beautiful cities and the architecture. Just absolutely amazing. If you can do the Transylvania extension, I highly recommend it. There's Bucharest. That is the largest government building in the world, I believe. And then I have a picture of the lunch that we had there. Oh my gosh, it was absolutely delicious. The food in Romania is gorgeous, wonderful. And then the 3-night Istanbul. So you're going to see some highlights like the Hagia Sophia. You're going to see like the Blue Mosque. You'll see some of the Ottoman Sultan's Grand Palace. So you're really going to get to see the highlights of Istanbul if you do this 3-night extension post-cruise. And so now I get to part where I get to talk about why Steve and I love Ama. And one of the things that we love, they say that they're the heart of the river, but the word Ama actually means love. So they actually started this business out of love and love for wanting to create a very unique river cruise experience. Our particular company, I'm a CruiseOne Dream Vacations franchise owner, and we have been the top travel partner with AmaWaterways since their inception. Our chief operating officer, Debbie Fiorino, is the godmother of the Ama Siena Siena ship. And we actually had a chance to do a godmother cruise with her and some of the representatives from AmaWaterways. And then there you see she's with Ama. There's Christine, the founder. This is Martini. Her name is Martina, but her nickname is Martini. She was our cruise manager during that trip. And here's some of the pictures that I took of the food. I feel like it doesn't do justice, but wonderful foods that they have. You can see the preparation, the thought, the detail, the plating is absolutely gorgeous. This is us enjoying the chef's table. And again, I mentioned that everybody gets to do that at least once. So that's a wonderful experience there. And I don't know how to say it, but you really feel the love on board. We did a Christmas cruise with Ama. That was the godmother cruise. And this is the captain. He's leading a toast to Debbie and thanking her for being the godmother of the ship. And then they had a wonderful, they had Christmas gifts for everybody, and all the people that worked on the ship dressed up as elves and angels, and they just really made it fun for us. And we felt so warm and so much embraced. And I have to say that doesn't just happen on a godmother cruise. That happens every time we cruise Ama. We feel just like, and it's not because we're with Dream Vacations and CruiseOne. It's just how they treat everybody. And we just absolutely love the idea of the celebration of wine cruise. You get a lot of like-minded wine lovers. Everybody gets to talk, compare, take notes, enjoy lots of wine. It's a wonderful experience. Again, some of the stuff we've already gone over, but it really is a chance to sip, savor, and enjoy the wonderful wine program on board. So
well, there will be one special night too, where Pavle and the chef will collaborate on a food and wine pairing dinner. So it'll be a unique dinner that you won't see on normal cruises.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. And also, everyone who is booked into our group, which is the official group, will get invited to, they call it a family reunion reception. It's just probably going to be up in one of the special places on the ship, and it'll be a chance just for people in our group to get together and get to know each other. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So now I get to go over the beautiful AmaMagna and show you what the rooms look like. So they do have full suites, and I believe some of these are still available. So the suites are incredible, 710 square feet. This one is the grand suite at 474 square feet. I mean, that's a lot of real estate for a river ship. And then they have the veranda suites. And these, again, 355 square feet, very generously sized, large bathrooms, with double sinks, just incredible use of space there. And then this is the standard veranda. This is what we're going to be in. This is what we booked, but we have some people that booked the suites that I just showed you, and some people booked the lower level Riverview cabins. These are very affordable and nice big windows and very generous size. I mean, they're not, putting you into some little hobbit hole. You get a nice room, and you do have the windows to let in the natural light. So categories and pricings and our current promotion. So this is what's so exciting, is that Ama wants to give us a pricing advantage because we are the official group. So right now we have a $1,500 per cabin savings off the prices that you see in this grid here. And that is $500 more savings than you get if you book with Ama directly right now. So ours is $1,500 a cabin. If you book with Ama directly, it's the same pricing, but they're only taking $1,000 off. So they really gave us a nice pricing advantage. You got to be booked by April 30th. And this is the price, the total price per cabin based on double occupancy. Now, if you're a single occupant, let me price it out for you. They do sometimes have special single occupant pricing. But the nice thing is that when you look at this price, you're like, okay, but what does that include? All your meals, all your drinks. Well, in happy hour and with meals. So if you're going to drink something later than that, just get them to fill up your glass of wine before you leave the dining room, and then you don't have to buy a nightcap. It includes all your excursions and a choice there of excursions, all your specialty dining, and it includes specialty dining. Trying to think what else it includes, Steve. Well, the choice of excursions. Oh, the entertainment. That was the other thing I was getting to, is the onboard entertainment. So that cultural enrichment that comes on board the ship. And of course, all those special wine tasting events with Pablo and Ida from Los Milics. So very, very inclusive. If you want to do one of the extensions, I will need to just double check that the pricing has not gone up on these, but last time I checked, it was there. The Vienna is $840 per person, double occupancy. The 2 nights Brasov and 2 nights in Bucharest is $1320 per person, double occupancy. Highly recommend that. And then if you want to do the Istanbul, it's $1995 per person based on double occupancy. And it's a little more when you see the single price because of the destination, and your flights are included in that price. So I always like to let people know that we do much more than river cruising. And I wanted to just very quickly highlight some of our other group cruises that we have. So people who want to see the world from their doorstep, these are all cruises that start in the United States. So you don't have to take any long-term flights to get to these cruises. So you're going to spend a lot of relaxing days at sea and get to visit all these destinations. This is with our partners, Holland America. We have a wonderful partnership with them. We are also doing 2 of these long Alaska sailings that they're offering. We are escorting the one in June 8th of this year, and I believe there's still availability on that. And then June 7th of 2026, we also took out grips for people who couldn't quite make it with us in 2025. So there is very limited sailing availability on 25. We have a recorded webinar from January on YouTube. Iceland. So we still have a couple of cabins at our group rates for this Iceland cruise. We're going to have them through April 16th. So I know that's coming up very quickly. We hosted a webinar last Friday to let people know. Our prices include drinks and Wi-Fi. We have savings up to $234 per person off the Celebrity Direct rates. And we have a recorded webinar from April 11th if you're interested in learning more on that. Next week or later this week, we're hosting some on Bordeaux. So Steve and I mentioned before a couple of people came in, that we're actually going to spend a week in Bordeaux. It's actually going to be like 10 days in Bordeaux before we go to Budapest. And we're going to do this Avalon River cruise all through Bordeaux and do the wonderful wine tasting there. And then we are going to fly to Budapest and do the cruise. So these actually line up to do. We're also doing the romantic Rhine with Lucerne and Lake Como. That is on AmaWaterways, which is another wonderful river cruise company we partner with. So just going to be a wonderful experience. We're having it end of month. We're having a webinar on that. If you're interested in going to Antarctica, we have 2 ways to visit Antarctica. One in January on Celebrity Cruise. It's scenic sailing only. You do not get off and walk around. If you want the full expedition experience, come with us in February of 2026. We've got a nice group coming along. I'll have to get you pricing and availability because it's very limited on that, but our pricing did start at about $14K per person. That was for the least expensive price balcony cabin. Not sure we still have those, but call me and I can get you pricing on that. I threw this slide up there because we do wine lovers cruises all the time. We've done 5 with the folks at Ascension Cellars in California, and we have one in March of 26. This is already sold out. So don't wait to book. Don't think you can book next week because things sell out early, especially when we have these kind
Hopefully
of special
27 will be
groups.
coming soon. We'll get that going.
Yeah, we're hoping to have that. Okay, so we have, if you are a person that likes to chase solar eclipses, we've got a couple long ones with Holland America that still have quite a bit of availability. And then we have 2 with Celebrity. Now, the one that I would recommend is this longer 14-night one. It is, you're going to see the full solar eclipse from the ocean in Spain. So you'll be away from the crowds. We have discounted group rates, and that is August 1st of 2026. This one round trip Reykjavik, my group sold out in 2 weeks on this. So there's still availability in the individual category pricing, but not with my deep group discounts. But if you're interested in that, I can book you at the individual rate. We could wait list you for the group, something like that. We did record a webinar on October, so you can watch that on YouTube if you're interested. The Scandinavian capitals. So this one actually lines up with that Rhine and Lake Como one. So you can take that cruise. You finish up in Lake Como, fly to Amsterdam. Is it 1 night in Amsterdam?
Yeah.
And then you get on this ship and you get to see all of the Scandinavian capitals plus some. We did a version of this last summer. Absolutely loved it so much. I was like, we have to come back and take a group out on this because we loved it so much. Beautiful places to visit. The weather was good. It wasn't hot. It wasn't cold. It was a wonderful experience. And again, Holland America, another great partner with us. They just do everything so well. So I want to open it up to Q&A. If anybody has any questions about AmaWaterways, I'm going to toggle over to the pricing page because that's usually where people have questions. So
Remember, you're muted, so if you want to ask a question, you need to unmute yourself.
You unmute yourself and ask away.
I've been hearing a lot about visas and changes and stuff in Europe. We were there a year or 2 ago. Have they changed since then?
Yeah, so let me answer that for you. So if you are flying through the UK, they already have their e-visa thing set up. It's just basically it's just a way for them to collect like a little tourist tax from you and maybe for them to know who's coming into their country. So it takes 5 minutes to fill out online. I think it's like 16 pounds. So I'm not sure how much that is in dollars. It's either 16 pounds or $16. You fill it out and it's good for 2 years, Steve, is that right?
2 years. 2 years.
2 years.
2 or 3
years. So if you're transiting through the UK to get there, you would need to get that. If you're transiting only through the EU to get there, then you only need to get the EU e-visa, which is not available yet. But they keep saying 3rd or 4th quarter 2025. Well, you know what they were saying? 1st quarter 2022, 1st quarter 2023, 1st quarter 2024, and 1st quarter 2025. So who knows when it's going to be available? But the best place to check is the U.S. Department of State website. It's, just Google U.S. Department of State website, and they have a traveler section. You can click on there, and they are very good about keeping the links to everything you need to get. So if you do need to get that EU visa by the time we travel, and
Well,
check your
obviously, we're
email.
keeping an eye on it too. So we'll see if it becomes required, we'll send a note to everybody booked on the group and let them know.
Yeah, yeah. So read your emails from me. But I do stress, it is every traveler's responsibility to be aware of what kind of visas and things they need. But it looks like it possibly could be in place for our trip. And I believe it's going to be, 10 minutes online and, 10 euros, 15 euros, something like that to get it.
Could you just talk a little bit about the weather at that time of year on this cruise and the
So so you're in the southeast part of Europe. You're not at a very high elevation. So it's going to be fall weather. It shouldn't be freezing cold. But it's also not going to be hot, which is nice because if you go to Europe in August, you might just be sweating to death. Whereas if you go this time of year, I mean, we've gone at Christmas time and, worn gloves and a scarf and a jacket. I would say still pack that because you might need that in the morning. And then hopefully in the afternoon, the sun will come out. It'll be a little bit warmer and you can wear just like a light jacket or just a sweatshirt and a scarf. But it's not going to be sunny Mediterranean weather, but it's also not going to be the dead of winter weather.
Well, it really doesn't snow in this region either, so it doesn't get cold enough to snow.
Yeah, yeah. And if it is a rainy day, the ship does provide umbrellas. So, dress for the weather and it should be very comfortable.
I was watching some AmaMagna videos online, and they mentioned laundry service and like washers and dryers available on the ship. Is that right?
No, it's send out laundry service. It's not self-service. I don't believe, I can double check that, but I don't believe that there is a laundrette on the ship. Let me just go Google it really quick.
So, but you can send out laundry and they just have a fee for a bag of laundry.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable.
Okay.
Any other questions? I'm Googling to see if they have a laundrette.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.
Okay, yeah. And